used to be with it. Then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
Well, hello, and welcome to the What I'm With podcast. I'm Tim. This is my brother Dave. And today we're talking about a very unique 1990s event.
Indeed.
You know what we're talking about because I had to set these things out.
Spoilers, sure.
So, for the uninformed, after George Lucas had completed the original Star Wars trilogy, and prior to re-releasing the special editions, and then ultimately going on to create the prequel trilogy, there was the Star Wars Expanded Universe,
yes,
which was a novel-based series of Star Wars stories. Mm-hmm. Most famously, the Thrawn trilogy. Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah, Timothy Zahn.
Yep. Kind of kicked that off with the story following the adventures of Han, Luke, and Leia after Return of the Jedi. So, some people I don't know if it was Lucasfilm or LucasArts or a combo of the two had an idea. What if we did an entire marketing campaign around a movie that we're never going to make?
Yeah.
And that movie that they never made was Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. So, what is Shadows of the Empire? I mean, it's a record album.
Yes, it's a novel.
It's a line of action figures.
It's an N64. Hold on, let me rephrase that. It's one of the best N64 games of all time.
It's even a comic run. So, what they decided to do was unleash a multimedia torrent around what would have been a movie, or what they would have done for a movie, but never released that movie. So, what it is a story that takes place immediately after Empire Strikes Back and preceding Return of the Jedi. And the basic plot, the overall plot, is Lando and Leia and Luke, the three L's, are trying to find where Han Solo is. Because when we last saw... Hey! When we last saw Mr. Han Solo, he was escorted off of Cloud City in the Carbonite. By Boba Fett.
Yes.
Potentially never to be seen again.
Right.
We didn't see the movies. We were too young, so we didn't see them as they came out.
No, we were able to see it as a trilogy in total.
But I would imagine for the people that were older than us and saw that movie back then, like, did they just kill Han Solo, like, for real?
Right.
Is he ever coming back?
Yeah.
So this story kind of takes off following that. So the book is primarily the main characters from the movie, as well as a new character, Prince Shizor. And
scoundrel Dirk Rengar?
Dash Rengar.
Dash Rengar.
So in the novel, Dash is a tertiary character.
Okay.
So
he is the main character of the video game.
That's correct. So this is what they did. They spread things out. So the overarching plot is our heroes, along with Wedge.
Wedge Antilles of Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, they need to find where is Han Solo. Yeah. So they bring in the assistance of Mr. Dash Rendar, who thinks he knows where he's seen Boba Fett. And it's this whole story of trying to track that down. And then the other side of the story is Prince Shizor, who is...
He's a crime lord, right?
He is, yeah. So it's the Black Sun is the name of the crime organization.
Right, and they exist, I believe, in canon now.
They do. They brought them into canon. Basically, once a certain mega corporation known for being evil bought the best franchise ever
The Galactic Empire?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They bought the best franchise ever, and instead of coming up with original ideas, they just mined all of the good stuff that came before it, turned it into their ideas, and slowly made us watch Star Wars die in front of our faces.
Not aware of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's only 6 Star Wars movies. Well, I mean, I guess there's technically 9 if you consider Caravan of Courage, Battle for Endor, and the Holiday Special.
Yeah.
So, 9.
Yeah. Those were made for TV, so we'll say 6 theatrical films.
6 theatrical films, yeah.
So what they did is, the book follows those main characters as well as Prince Shizor. What he wants to do is usurp Darth Vader and become the Emperor's right-hand man. Oh. So there's a plot between him and Darth Vader trying to basically vie for the Emperor's approval. I don't know. And it's it's a fine story. It's interesting. It's engaging. It's ultimately inconsequential because we know the next movie that comes out. But,
right.
But what they do, they take the Boba Fett story and make that the comic book.
Oh, okay.
So this
Interesting.
This follows Boba Fett's version of or perspective from the story, and then lastly, the aforementioned
right where you play
Nintendo
as Dash
64 game.
and you actually get to fight Mr. Boba Fett in one of the hardest boss battles of my youth.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely the hardest fight that I can think of on the N64. Because I mean, he's got his ship, he's flying, he's dropping bombs on you. It's a pretty brutal fight.
Yeah, I believe it had. I know the end boss was a multi-phase end boss where first he's the full robot.
Yes,
and then you,
yes.
I think you shoot off his jetpack first, and then his body, and he's just his head. And as he loses more of his stuff, he gets more difficult.
That tracks.
Yeah, that's absolutely how things work.
That's how it works in life, yeah.
Yeah, if you were fighting me and I start losing arms and legs, I
Right.
become more difficult
Right.
to fight.
Exactly. Like sort of like the Black Knight in Holy Grail. Just more brutal, like just a flesh wound.
Yeah.
Just a scratch.
So, and even the soundtrack, which is, to use an expression from today's vernacular, mid.
Oh, it's not fire?
It's not fire.
Okay.
It is mid.
Was it Williams or someone else?
No,
it's
Joel McNeely.
Good
Yes.
job, Mr. McNeely.
So it's fine. It's just you can't, if you go play in John Williams' playground, you're not making the sandcastles he's making to try to complete that analogy. But it's fine. It's fine. And if you get the audio version of the book, it's actually abridged. It's only 3 hours. This would probably be maybe like
5
a
to 6.
7.
Yeah. Oh, 7.
Tops,
Yeah,
maybe.
What is it, like 350 pages or something?
I didn't look. But it features the soundtrack. And but they did get a full orchestra to do it, so they went all out. But I did have to pick up the record album just for the art.
Oh, that artwork's beautiful. Yeah, that's great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's in the 370, 380 range for pages. But yeah, it's funny. I vividly remember the game. I vividly remember the toys. I'm struggling to think if I did the comic or the book. I know I did Dark Empire. Mm-hmm. I know I did The Heir to the Empire and many other books. I mean, all the way up through the Yuzan Vong before I eventually was like, okay, enough already.
Yeah.
Once Chewie was gone, it was sort of that was enough.
Oh, I mean, he got a hero's death with a moon falling on him. But
That's how he should.
screaming at it.
Yeah.
But
That's not a good
to
Wookiee.
save the children of the actual children.
The actual children of
Han
Han
and
and Leia. Yeah.
Jason, Jaina, and Anakin.
Yep.
I remember this game because it's actually a short game. I have looked on the YouTubes, and people beat this game in about 2 hours.
Okay.
It is profoundly difficult.
So I remember it was the first game in a 3D immersive environment to have a speeder bike, which was awesome. I remember I actually had that toy speeder bike along with Mr. Rendar, and I believe it was Luke dressed in a Imperial Crimson Guard Stormtrooper hybrid.
Yeah, it was the red armor.
It was really cool.
Yeah. And then Chewbacca.
Chewbacca in some sort of like guerrilla warfare get up.
They shaved some of his hair into like a
it was 90s.
high top.
Very, very 90s. Yeah. Oh, there's the speeder biking through.
It's almost like the
Eisley,
game
perhaps?
knows what you're talking about. And this is actually extremely difficult. They're making it look real easy here, but making these turns because you go so fast.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Smash into everything. Yeah. But it was such a fun game. I just have very fond memories of spending summers just playing this if we weren't out gallivanting, hanging out with our skateboarding friends as the posers that we were.
Right, yeah. Or rollerblading in a flat parking lot.
That was earlier in life. So this
earlier.
was like what, mid 90s. So
it was before we moved.
Yeah, so we're still.
It was probably 95.
I think it was 96, and
that might be right.
I graduated high school in 97. So this is like summer break. Just if we weren't out.
It's actually. I wonder if you worked at the video game store when this was out or not.
I might have actually.
Yeah. So my brother has some nerd cred that I don't have. He worked at a video game store.
I did. We had a local chain called Video Game Exchange.
Yeah, we did.
And I remember because little history. We were homeschool kids. We started private school, then we went homeschool, and then we went public school. So we got
interesting order, parents.
We got very unique. We got a taste of all three. And I remember as a junior going into high school, I had to go to freshman orientation, which was fine. But I'm a homeschool kid at this point. I don't know what I'm doing. Going into this high school, and I meet some other freshman kids. And they're like, "You work at the video game store, don't you?" I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Yes.
And
my name is Tim, and we are now friends.
yeah, so I made some freshman friends, and one kid, his pride in life at that point was he could imitate any sound effect from Killer Instinct. And he legitimately could. So we walked from the high school to the video game store because I had to go work afterwards.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was just me and some other kid, and he was so 3 of us total, and he was just doing the different sound effects, and I was thoroughly impressed.
That is impressive. I just remember the robot character with the knife hand. I can't even think of his name. Oh.
You know, I don't remember that. I remember the main guy with the ponytail from the cover.
Yeah, I remember him now that you've said that.
Yeah. And just this was kind of the beginning of putting like photorealistic stuff into video games. Mm-hmm. So and during the 16-bit era too, which is fantastic. But right on the cusp of this next era, that includes
1996, right there on the screen, proving you right.
It's pretty interesting how this
game is doing a great job of keeping us on point.
It's backing up what we're saying.
Yeah, and this is before your devices spied on you.
Yes. Or no. Or whatever you want, Mr. Bezos. Are you still out there?
Yeah. Who's the Google guy these days? I forget.
I don't know. Some guy. But yeah, I went and played the first couple of levels in this game. So when you start off on the Hoth doing the speeder run, taking down the AT-ATs, and but the vehicle controls are great. Once you get into the character controls, this is before they knew what to do with 3D. If you can see the Nintendo 64 controller, there's one joystick in the middle.
It's a monster of a controller. It's very clear that no one knew what to do.
It's true, but the best part is, so you're getting shot, and you turn like this. Like, this is about the speed that you can go as you're turning and getting shot. And it's just terrible.
You just get destroyed,
But the game, luckily, you're not overwhelmed by bad guys. So.
Now having memory hold or perhaps never even read the novelization or the comics, I would guess that you would say it is less than Heir to the Empire and less than Dark Empire.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. Heir to the Empire.
Heir to the Empire is perfection.
It is the Throne trilogy, and Dark Empire. To me, if you read no other extended universe, only read those. Yeah. And really, if you only want to delve in and spend an hour of your life, just go straight to Dark Empire.
Dark Empire is fantastic.
It's a graphic novel. It's actually kind of hard to find in physical format at this time.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I was trying to find it, so I have the original in trade paperback, and then I have the sequel in the old floppy comics. And it's, if you want to get them, they're up to or over $100.
I have to check my basement. I think I have the original in comics.
Okay.
I think I still have like the 6-issue run or 8-issue run.
It's a 6-issue run of each.
I'm pretty sure I found that when I mistakenly purged my comic book collection, and I saw those, I was like, absolutely not.
So
those have to stay.
If right over there, out of frame, is a box that has all of my trade paperbacks right now, because we're just rearranging some stuff. So I will let you borrow Dark Empire if you would like, if you haven't read it in a while.
Yeah, and if I can find the my run, I'll be very happy.
Yeah,
I also had some X-Wing comics, some Rogue Squadron comics. Of course.
I never read those.
They were good. They weren't.
Yeah,
they weren't Dark. I think Dark Empire is such a high bar, as did the Thrawn trilogy. I mean, the Thrawn trilogy is Star Wars for grown-ups.
Mm-hmm.
It is like, you grew up with the movies. Now here's your next trilogy, and it makes sense.
Yeah, you're in the characters' heads.
Yeah. You get a villain who actually makes sense.
Yeah, and who's scary. Like he's
scary. And he explains some of the less well-written things about the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of does some cleanup work for Mr. Lucas.
Yeah.
Highly recommend Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command.
Yeah, you can even find the Heir to the Empire trilogy in comic form as well. I have the first one. I don't have the second. I don't have Dark Force Rising or The Last Command.
That might be what I found, not Dark Empire.
Okay.
That might be what I have.
Yeah, but they're all good.
I'm going immediately to the box in the basement that I'm thinking of when I get home. And
yeah, I will. The Thrawn trilogy is so good that everything that the current Evil Empire is producing is mined directly from it.
Yes.
Because of how fantastic it was done.
Yes, and I haven't seen anything that features who they are calling Grand Admiral Thrawn.
No, there's some imposter.
Yeah, but Thrawn was a genius.
Yes.
An absolute genius.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand from other online reviews that I've seen is that TV Thrawn is what a dumb person thinks a genius is.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, they're all doing my plot. Let's just,
I know what's happening next because I read the script ahead of time.
Right, yes.
I hate that stuff so much.
It's horrible.
But yeah, this is, I'd give it a soft recommendation.
Okay.
For reading, if you, the audiobook. It's 3 hours. It's sound effects, music. So
on a popular streaming subscription service, I have a couple of credits. I might just pick it up.
It's fine. It's not going to knock your socks off, but it's
while I wait for Matt Dinniman to release book 7 of Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Mongo is outraged.
Yay!
Oh gosh, we're so sorry. We've gone too far.
For those of you who aren't up to date with modern entertainment, we have become, in this year, thanks to our friend Dave, huge fans of Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're going to soft recommend this, I will divert our whole episode to strong recommend Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Can't agree.
Best piece of genre fiction I have encountered a decade, maybe.
Yeah, I'm almost caught up. I'm about halfway through book 6.
Yeah.
So I'm loving every second of it. It's
fantastic.
It's the best.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll wrap it up because we're diverging way off from what we're talking about, which is fine. This is what we do. We just start riffing and things happen. So if you're at all interested, check it out. I would medium to hard recommend the video game. You can probably emulate it or maybe even get it in.
It
on
might
the
be in
Switch
the Nintendo
now.
shop.
Yeah,
there's a decent back archive.
Yeah, so the controls are very much of their time, but it is a fun game, and if you're a Star Wars fan, yeah, it does all the Star Wars things you would want it to do. You get the music, you get the environments. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks for checking us out. Like, subscribe, share. We're not going to talk about Star Wars much.
No. But
I wanted to just talk about this as it was a very unique occurrence in the 90s of merchandise around a film that never happened. Bye.